Michelle Williams, who started something different. She started a Toastmasters club for a group of children, young kids at Roosevelt Middle School, and dedicated her time every Thursday, and it was awesome seeing these kids come in the classroom and having an organized meeting after school. That just showed how dedicated the students were, but more importantly, how dedicated Michelle was to making a change in the community. I would like to welcome Michelle Williams. Please come down.
Thank you. 100 years from now, it won't matter how much money was in my bank account. It won't matter what kind of car I drove. It won't even matter what type of house I lived in. But the world may be a different place because I made a difference in the life of a child. The work that I did at Roosevelt Middle School was endorsed by Sunset Speakers Toastmasters organization. Tessie, Chris, and the members of Sunset Speakers unanimously voted to support our youth organization. And because of that, on Thursday, 11 chosen students who were deemed introverts came and worked together to mentor one another and also to build those leadership skills and communication skills. By the end of our 8-week session, because we honored the guidelines of Toastmasters, the parents called and said, "Can we keep this going?" But Toastmasters says it has to take a different, the youth leadership program ends in 8 weeks. Now, I could have taken it a different route, but we were bumping into FSA. And if you know FSA is no joke in the public school system, we shut it down. Okay, but the parents wanted to continue this work. The students wanted to continue this work. One of the students came back and said, "Listen, I did so well on my presentation. I wasn't nervous, and I didn't say, See, the group of kids that I wanted, we don't use the bell system in youth leadership, where you go, tap." They wanted it. So I think, Chris, you were at that first meeting. Chris took that bell out, and he was a little timid. By the time I was down, ding, ding. And then I didn't get to ding very much because they knew. So when they stood up in front of their classmates, they were no longer speaking with the interjections, the ums. And they would come in, "I listened to the news last night. This person said," and they couldn't, and they were just so excited. It makes a difference. But see, Toastmasters, even at the organizational level and the youth department, it's like a slow cooker. You get in there, you don't really see it happening. 8 weeks later, 2 months later, all of a sudden, you're a different communicator. And those kids left with amazing skills. They mentored each other by looking at each other's speeches and filling in possible gaps and making recommendations. You see, in the public school system, we have technology, Google Classrooms, and all sorts of things that we don't have really at the club level, so they could get in and do a different type of work outside of the time they spent with me. And they did that. Not only were they successful there, but I had another kid who nailed that interview. Parent called me back. My goodness, my introvert, my withdrawn child went in there, and I got a call back that they were a stellar interviewee. I was like, yeah, that's Toastmasters. Some of the parents even came out to the meetings, and they're still revisiting the idea of joining. That's Toastmasters. So I actually had the pleasure of working with the kids, but I also had the pleasure of working with 2 Roosevelt Middle School alumni who came in, and those were my 2 favorite meetings because I got to kind of kick back and watch them run the meeting. First, I want to recognize Devin. I was so nervous. I teach for a living. This is what I do. I'm not intimidated about teaching or working with kids, but taking Sunset Toastmasters and running a club, and you want to do it with fidelity, and you want to run this thing. So I was nervous, and on the second meeting, I put out an email, and Devin said, I'll come. And I had to cancel it. About 24 hours later, Devin, can you come? He was in the room. Thank you, Devin. He had a lasting impression on the kids. They saw Devin, and my young men saw someone they wanted to become. And that, he did what I could not do. Because we had minorities, a group of minorities that were diverse. I didn't pick the kids. They were recommended to me. And I saw them looking at him, asking about him later. The second person who showed up just came, Chris. Now, Chris was, I'm not going to take up too much time, but I loved Chris's meeting because Chris was kind of like, are they going to get to speaking? Are they going to speak? I'm thinking, Chris is going to get there. And I did a little something different. Our table topics, because my kids were so introverted, I gave them the topic and gave them 3 minutes to prep, and I took their papers back. But he said, I never would have done that. But because I did it, they were more confident. By the time I was done, they could do table topics. And Chris was like, I never would have thought of that. And then I sat back and behind the desk and watched Chris run that meeting for a minute. And that was such a sweet moment for me because I knew I was a good teacher. But these two men made the difference. I mean, for me, they made the difference. When they showed up, my students were really engaged. They inspired them, they encouraged them, and being Roosevelt Middle School alumni, they saw their future. But thank you once again for coming. But more than that, I want to thank Sunset Speakers Toastmasters. Because of you, you all have made the difference in the lives of a child. Not me, you did by endorsing this effort. So thank you.